Hello and welcome to all beautiful souls out there. You're listening to the Restore My Soul podcast with Princess Millens, your favorite grief coach and emotional wellness specialist. In this space, we will help those who struggle with grief and loss and have real conversations about how to overcome it in every area of life. Through our personal stories, practical information, and wisdom from Princess and her special guests. We are here to educate, inspire, and empower you with the strategies you need in your emotional healing journey. We do not offer medical advice, but we believe that we can all learn to heal by creating a mindset to grow past our pain and push toward our purpose. Our goal is to remind you that grief is a journey and you do not have to walk it alone, no matter what the pain or loss is. You can be restored and live fully in your purpose. So let's push through the pain together as we share our stories of resilience, one episode at a time.
Well, welcome in again, all beautiful souls out there to the Restore My Soul podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so excited and glad that you are here tuning in to this episode. I am your host, Princess Millens, and I'm your favorite grief and emotional wellness specialist. And you know what we do here. We educate, we inspire you, and empower you with the information that you need to do all the things that God has called you to be. I believe that we all have a journey. We all have an emotional wellness journey, but we can also create that mindset that will push past that pain to our purpose. So today, I am so excited about our guest here today. My special guest today is Dr. Letitia Wright, and she is an executive producer and the host of the Wright Place TV, which has run on cable for over 22 years. And as a former chiropractor, right, Dr. Wright has transitioned into the media world, and the Wright Place TV is in its 23rd season, y'all. And it has a bandwidth of spanning over about 6.5 million homes throughout Southern California and beyond. And in addition to her media work, she is a top 100 crowdfunding expert in the United States. And she focuses on putting funding and money into the hands of women and minority owned businesses. So I want to welcome to the episode and to the show today, Dr. Letitia Wright. Thank you so much for being here. It's an honor to meet you finally.
Yes, thank you for having me, and hello, all you beautiful souls. I love that you call your audience beautiful souls. That's lovely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I know that you're here and gonna just add so much value to this episode. And we all talked about our journey, right? Our journey, the things that we had to overcome, the obstacles that we've had in life. And I know today that you have a powerful story and information about really how to pivot in life, right? How to pivot. So I want to first just ask you, how did you come from being a chiropractor, right? From a doctor to the media expert that you are today?
Absolutely. It's a very interesting story. I went to a local cable access station and was a guest on a show. And I did that in my mind thinking I could help promote my practice. My practice was struggling. I could not find a mentor. Back then, there was no SBTV and all this stuff. There were no books. And I was struggling. I would go to other chiropractors and say, hey, I need some mentorship. One told me, well, you have kids, don't go home and be with your kids. One told me, you're two cities over from me. You're too close. I'm not going to mentor you. There were just all these people that would not reach their hand out to help me and help me figure out, what was wrong and how you can do things. And so I struggled. My practice struggled. Um, And I finally wrote to a practice management company, which they send out a person to help you get your practice together and make sure it's making good money. And they called me up. I got excited. I got my pen and my paper, and I was going to write down, when the person was coming. And the woman on the phone told me that I don't make enough money to be one of their clients.
Wow.
So I was pretty crushed. To me, I had exhausted all the help I could reach out for. And I had started a health show thinking that it would bring in clients. It was fun, but it didn't bring in more clients like I had thought. And so I decided to do a show called The Right Place that would interview business experts like you and, get this information for people like me that were out there struggling. I wasn't the only one. So I really, I'm gonna turn my mic down just a little bit because I think there's a little echo there. So I really was trying to figure out how to make this business part of it work. And I kept interviewing all these people, learning, and I kept getting sponsorship. And when Southern California Edison supported me and gave me a check for $1,000, I was like, oh, it's a business. And so I started to look at my show as a business, and it
Wow.
thrived. Within 3 years, I was in the black, and I knew what I was doing, and I was interviewing people, and things were going really, really great. And so I've expanded since then to I have my own channel on Roku, Amazon, and Apple TV. And
Wow.
so now I can really control the narrative. And I also build those channels for other people like you who want to expand past social media and get onto real media and really just take their brand to the next level. So my pivot was that I had to give up something. I've been telling people I was going to be a doctor since I was 3 years old. So that
Okay.
in that pivot, walking away from a practice that was stressing me out and not making me happy, there's a little grieving that you have to do. And I think that that's what
Absolutely.
people don't anticipate as they pivot. You are going to have to spend some time, however you do it. And I believe in grief work. I've had a grief counselor when I had a death in my family. So I truly believe in grief work. I know how it helped me so much. But you do need to spend time grieving what you're letting go of, getting your feelings out about that so you can fully embrace the pivot. Even if it's just 10, 15-degree pivot, a small pivot, you're still getting rid of something, and you do need to take time to say goodbye, make your peace with it, and move on. Because I spent my whole life telling people I was going to be a doctor, and I'm still a doctor. I just don't see patients.
Exactly, exactly. What a wonderful story there of being able to pivot and transition from an old season to a new season, right? That has brought you so much fulfillment and you're still changing so many lives every single day, right? And I agree that there is grief in the pivot, right? It's grief in the pivot and letting go. And I think a lot of times for us, the trouble in letting go is that we always want our comfort zone. We want the things that we've always had. And like you, I had to do a pivot as well. I was in a classroom for 20 years. I taught high school and middle school. And a couple of years ago, I had to pivot as well because of health issues and things like that. But it transitioned me into some of the things that people see me do right now. And the beauty of letting go, let's talk about the beauty of letting go and what it looks like. So for you, can you just expound upon the power of letting go something that something else can come in and just be so beautiful in your life? What
Absolutely.
does that look like? What does the letting go look like, and how can we really successfully do that?
It is really just taking a deep breath and letting it leave your hand. That means
Mm.
disconnecting from the financial cost. Having the practice was costing me every month, putting me in debt every month. And it was, I was not catching up. I was not getting there. I didn't know how to get there. I mean, I just couldn't do it. Whereas with my TV show, I could
Mm.
see exactly how much I was putting in and getting back. And I knew the exact day that once I got the check from so and so, my show
Yeah.
was in the black, meaning we were making money. There was some profit there, or at least it was paying for itself. And so it is about looking at the financial part that you're giving up. Most of the time, you're going to be giving up a lot of financial strain. You're going to be giving up working with people that were stressing you out. Yes, I grieved my patients. I loved working with my patients. I worked with families. There were children that were born into my practice that I was their first chiropractor. And being in the delivery room and adjusting a baby his first hours being born is a privilege
Oh.
that I got to have with families that trusted me with their children, whole entire families. It's all
Mm.
about that. And so it's giving up that, saying your piece, thanking people, and moving on. The offices that I had, the places that I did, all of those things, moving on and
Mhm.
saying, I'm going to focus on this. And, this is what I'm going to do. So you do need to take some time. It's not just cutting things off and moving on. You need to take some
Yeah.
time to process that pivot and
Yeah.
embody that pivot. It's no longer what you're going to do, it's what you're doing. I'm Dr. Wright doing TV, you know.
Mhm.
And so am I okay with that? I was okay with that. People I think were surprised how okay I was with it because I was ready for the pivot when it happened. And there was so
Mhm.
much success happening with my TV show. When the TV show started making more than the practice, it was time for something to be let go.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
in the pivot, it just looks like a deep exhale and relaxation and letting go of the things you've been trying to hold on to with all your might and all your strength.
Yeah.
You're exhausted. If you let it go and it slips away, that's fine. Embrace what is your now time. Give all of your energy to what's here now that's
Yeah.
working and you're going towards, and that's what you're supposed to be doing. So it actually, while it is scary because you've been using all your strength to hold on to this thing, oh my gosh, when you let it go, the deep sense of relaxation and peace is amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is amazing. I've witnessed that myself, and you're right. It's the disconnect. It's a lot of things of what we don't want to disconnect from. And like you, I felt your heart when you was talking about your patients. You had to grieve, not being able to, support them in that way anymore. I grieve the loss of my students and being around people, my coworkers, my colleagues, right? And so disconnect, it takes courage. Disconnect takes courage. It takes the courage of, even overcoming other people and what their opinions are and things like that. So I want to go back to, you said that, if you asked you what you wanted to be at 3 years old, it was going to be that doctor, right? And you
Mhm,
grew up and you became that doctor. And a lot of
mhm.
us, we follow that same path. You asked me when I was little what I was gonna be. I would be a teacher. I was gonna be a doctor or a teacher. I had um two things that I wanted to be. So I ran from both of them, but teacher caught up with me, right? And so, but a lot of times we find ourselves in this place, and it's painful for us to transition. And sometimes we just don't know how, because and some of our pain is not necessarily related to money or the loss of money or things like that. It's other things. So can you just talk about how other people biases and their assumptions can affect our ability to be able to pivot into really what we're supposed to be doing?
Well, it's important because when people say, "I don't care what nobody thinks," a girl, only a psychopath doesn't care what nobody thinks.
Come on, talk about
No,
that.
you have to be crazy to not care about what anybody thinks because we are people made to be connected to people. And that is how God built all of us.
Yeah.
And so I can't say that I don't care about what anybody thinks, but I
Mhm.
do prioritize and I do make it clear the thoughts and concepts of people who are not supporting me, not financially supporting me, not supporting me with media. You know, I know all my sisters in media, we support each other. You know, you can call me anytime and say, hey, I'm promoting this. Can you put the word out for me? And I will. You know, but the people that are not supporting you, they never buy anything from you. They're never going to buy anything from you, no matter what you do. And to be worried about that set of people is a whole different concept. So I have to be honest, I was not really worried about what other people thought because I'm a very internally motivated person. I'm not really super influenced by what people think. I care about what my tribe thinks because I'm trying to serve my tribe. But
Yeah.
for somebody to say, you know, question what I'm doing, I just don't care. I recently
Yeah.
went to a conference in Northern California, and most of the people at the conference have newspapers there. And I was there as media with TV. And there was a woman who had a newspaper who walked up to me and said, well, what are you writing? And it's like, I'm not writing anything. I'm amplifying the stories that some of your people are writing because there's a whole section of TV and media on TikTok. These young kids don't want to read. Okay. We're past the time trying to make them learn how to read. They're only going to learn how to read when they want to. They don't want to read. They want to watch a video. So I'm giving them the same thing you're giving them in video so they can get it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, you know, just the thought that how dare I be here? That's what she talked to me like, what are you writing? What, you know, why are you here? And that's the only time she spoke to me. She came over there specifically to say that. And I thought,
Wow.
you know what? I'm going to do what I want to do. I know why I'm here. They can accept me, they can not accept me, but I know what I'm doing with my media. I have a show called the California Community Brief where I put in California. I'm not going to take on the whole country, but news that will help the underserved people in California.
That's good.
And that's what my show is about. And that's what I put out. So you have to get to a point where you're strong enough to say, whose thoughts matter? You know, your inner circle, I call it my power five. These are the people that will help me bury the body and not ask no questions. I got my power five, right? And then you have, you know, you have your couple of layers of your inner circle, and they can give you input. But beyond that, there are a bunch of people who are actually inconsequential to what you're doing. That person in her newspaper, they're inconsequential to me. They have nothing to do with me. They're not stealing my money. I'm not stealing their money. Now, they might think I'm stealing their money, but I'm not. I have a whole set of revenue that I'm creating, has nothing to do with them and is not taking advantage of them. So you really have to be very, very clear about what you're doing. Know that you are called to do that because I know what I'm called to do. You know that you are called to do that and then move in that. If you are overly dependent on what other people think, you will never go above mediocrity. And so there's just a stand you have to put in yourself. It is not somebody that a mentor can give you. It's not confidence that somebody else can give you. You got to grow those huevos yourself. Okay, you got to put on those big panties yourself. You got to
Yeah.
be a girl yourself. And once you do that, you are unstoppable.
Yeah, that's such a powerful encouragement for those who are really tied to the opinions of somebody else. I read in one of your articles that you was featured in that you said that you kind of decided that just to be okay with who you wanted to be and how you wanted to live your life, right? And I think that's a powerful statement because we have to make sure that we are ready and willing to show up for the people who are waiting for us, right? And people are waiting on us to walk in our purpose. They're waiting for us. And until we make that decision, sometimes we have to transition, sometimes we have to pivot to something else in order to show up in that authentic way that is the solution to somebody else's problem, right? And so, I think that a lot of times that when we are stuck in that place of not being willing to accept what we are called to do, that brings on a whole nother level of grief, I think. because you're grieving what you used to be. You're grieving how people see you now. And there's a line between of that and where you want to go, right? And
Mhm.
so I think that there are so many things in our life that we have to really disconnect from and be okay. Like you said, just be okay with who God has called you to be, right? And I think that's we can't be nothing else. The thing that really God has called us to be, we can't be anything else. Because to be anything else, it will never work. It will never succeed. And we see that with so many people in even some ways in our life, right?
Mhm.
But I want to ask you, is there any particular thing that kind of motivates you in your transition? How would you encourage somebody, or what some things that they can do to motivate themselves as they try to transition to another season? One of my things is music, right? Music is life to me. So I'm
Yes.
telling you, it can music can just make everything all right, right? So what kind of things do you do or have you seen other people do to make that transition or that pivot to another season to make it better, to make it more palatable?
One of the things is that I practice meditation, and I practice it as more like Christian meditation. I'm not out there chanting woo woo woo, but
Yeah.
I spend some time, and you can meditate to music for those of you that feel like you just can't sit there and quiet. That's okay.
Yeah.
You can meditate to music. A lot of times I'll meditate to spa music. I have my own channel that is a health channel, and I put meditation music on there for everybody else. But of course, I tune into my own channel and listen to that when I
Wow.
meditate. Um, so in that meditation time, I just spend time taking deep breaths and telling myself, I feel the love for myself. Not a lot of people
Mm,
say I am affirmations. I want you
yeah.
guys to let's level up. Leveling up from I am, you can use I feel or
That's
I
good.
know or I see. That's a level up from I am. So a lot of times we don't feel the love and compassion for ourselves. So, I remind myself, I love myself. I feel the compassion for myself. I feel the love. I feel the ease of the success. And I also spend time imagining the thing I'm doing working out. See, we spend a lot of time imagining it not working out. We spend a lot of time, I make that call and ask for that money, they're going to say no. Why don't you
Yeah.
spend 5 minutes just pretending in your head that it's happening? And you got to
Mm,
pretend with all your might. This is something I want you guys to think about. When I talk to my nephew, I have two nephews. One is 3 and one is 6. When I talk to my nephews and I go, let's pretend if I tell him to close your eyes and pretend to be a ninja, he's going to close his eyes and go
uh-huh.
full body, fully into it. If I tell an adult to close their eyes and pretend in their head that they're a ninja, they're just going to sit there like this.
Yeah.
So when you're pretending in your head that it's working out,
Mhm.
really feel it.
That's
Really,
good.
just hear it and see it in your head. Like, really get involved in imagining that it worked out for you. That's what they mean when imagine that it was okay. Imagine that everything worked
Yeah.
out. That's where you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to spend time with yourself, seeing yourself be successful. So as you're making this pivot, once you're clear what the pivot is going to be, before you make a move, spend
Mhm.
a week with yourself, just imagining that, oh, I'm doing it and it's working out. People are
That's
coming
good.
out of everywhere to work with me. People really love my work. All the little negative people, they're just that there's an invisible bubble that just keeps them away. They can't even get to me. All the little haters, I don't hear what they're saying about me. I don't hear nothing about the gossip in church about me. I hear none of that. So, just imagine that it's working out for you. And then go ahead and start the pivot. You will be inspired to do things. You'll be imagining it and you'll come up with an idea. Write that idea down. oh yeah, I should make a list of this and write that idea down that comes
Yeah.
when you're imagining it working out. That's your inspired work. That's your little nuggets from God saying, well, do it like this and do it like that. And and let's normalize, as they say, doing
Mhm.
things in peace and without struggle. It doesn't have to be a struggle to pivot. It's only a
Yeah.
struggle if you continue to hold on to that thing and try to
Come
get
on.
something else with your handful of garbage. You got to let go with an empty hand receive.
Yes, so good. And that was an encouragement to me because sometimes we forget about imagining if it does work. Imagine that thing working, that the thing that, that has been so embedded in your heart. What if it does work, right? And so if we put ourselves in the place of that positive thinking and can just visualize and imagine, just like you said, I think we'll be in a a much better place. So that was a great encouragement. I know that the audience that is listening, it was a great encouragement for them too. So if you're in a place in a season in your life where you have felt and know that you need to pivot to something else, I know that they will appreciate these beautiful nuggets that you have dropped today in this episode. So I am just wanted to thank you so much for being here. But before we leave, I want you to tell everybody how they can connect with you, how they can follow you, anything that you got going on right now that they can connect to.
Absolutely. I've got a great newsletter. You can connect with me here on Facebook, Dr. Letitia Wright. I've got a great newsletter that I'd love to share with you guys. It's all about making money with your show. If whether you have a podcast like this or a show or whatever you're doing, let's get some revenue in there. If you're not making money, please get on that list. And also, I'm on TikTok. You're a crowdfunding expert on TikTok. You can follow me there. I am on LinkedIn. I am on Snapchat. I am on Instagram. I'm Dr. Wright and the number one on Instagram. I'm on Twitter, but we'll see how long I'm on Twitter because Twitter is having issues. They got a little few problems going on, but I'm available. If you'd like to talk about what you'd like to do, your show idea, what you'd like to create in terms of a show. My channel is all for business shows, so I am about to open up, matter of fact, an opportunity for about 5 people that are new to be on my channel, so that way you get to feel it out, feel what it's like. And it's an incredible offer. You guys need to follow up on it. You'll be able to be on the channel for a year. You can upload 30 shows. I'll be uploading them for you. And you get a little coffee mug. So when you buy the coffee mug, the show comes with the coffee mug. So
Oh
you're
wow.
the first person to hear about that. But people can
Listen.
contact me. I will send you out the page and the information. You do need to have a business show or something that goes with Wright Place TV, but you'll be on Apple, Roku, and Amazon Fire TV when you're part of Wright Place TV channel. And it's all for the cost of a coffee mug. So
Wow.
if you'd like to be a part of it, you're ready to expand. I love working with powerful, ambitious women. Let's go.
Let's go. Well, thank you, Dr. Letitia, so much for being here today. And I know there will be so many people that want to connect with you. And I just want to thank you for encouraging the audience today to keep going, even in your pivot, even in the season that you have to disconnect, even if you're grieving the loss of transitioning, that it is so, so, so possible. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for being here on this episode of the Restore My Soul podcast. I thank you and I leave the words of Dr. Letitia with you is that you don't have to struggle in the pivot, right? And we could just imagine what your life would be like if you just believe that you could do it, that you can transition to your next. Okay. So you make sure that you follow me on all social media at Princess Millens and my website at princessmillens.com. Y'all remember that grief is a journey. You don't have to walk it alone. and I will see you in the next episode of the Restore My Soul podcast.
Thank you for joining another episode of Restore My Soul podcast. Be sure to listen and watch each week as we continue the conversation on how to bounce back from the setback of grief and loss, and to become resilient so that you too can thrive in life. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any new episodes. And share this with as many people as possible so they can be encouraged in their emotional wellness journey. We invite you to follow Princess Millens on all social media platforms and on the website at princessmillens.com. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Restore My Soul podcast.